On that sultry August day, Miami was humming with a multitude of voyagers, each pursuing their own solitary feats. In the midst of this human hive was Kate, a solitary soldier of a single mother, artfully managing both her carry-on and the burden of Jane's backpack. Jane, her effervescent 5-year-old offspring, was an electric current of expectation and thrill. "Mommy, are we there yet?" echoed Jane's voice, reverberating through the airport hubbub for the countless time, her eyes reflecting the pure marvel at human spectacle. The moment of truth had arrived. Their inaugural mystical trip to the world-renowned Disney World was about to commence. After triumphantly navigating the labyrinth of airport security and a brief detour to a Disney merchandise shop, because who doesn't get Mickey Mouse stickers, they finally sunk into their aircraft seats. As the plane rumbled, shuddered, and then ascended majestically into the sky, Jane pasted her tiny nose against the chill of the window pane, her voice providing a gripping commentary for the rapidly shrinking world beneath. "Mummy, the houses, they appear as minute Lego blocks," she exclaimed, delight reverberating in her voice, gesturing toward the swiftly fading cityscape being devoured by the immense distance. Hours passed in a comfortable lull, coloring books, juice boxes, and whispered stories of princesses and talking mice. Suddenly the plane lurched violently, throwing everyone off balance. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the cabin. Jane's eyes widened in fear, clutching her Mickey Mouse stuffed animal tightly. "It's just turbulence, honey," Kate said, her voice strained but reassuring. "It'll be okay." But the turbulence worsened, morphing into a bone-rattling storm. The plane dipped and bucked like a wild horse, the overhead lights flickering ominously. Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling, eliciting confused cries from the younger passengers. Panic started to set in. A disembodied voice crackled through the intercom, the pilot explaining they'd been struck by lightning and were experiencing technical difficulties. The plane was losing altitude. Jane buried her face in Kate's lap, tears streaming down her cheeks. Then, amidst the chaos, the pilot announced their desperate need for a small person to access a crucial compartment outside the plane. It held the key to regaining control. A hush fell over the cabin. Kate looked around, her gaze landing on Jane. In that moment, she saw not a scared little girl, but a spark of courage. "Jane," she whispered, "you're brave. Do you think you can help?" Jane, her lower lip trembling, looked up at her mum. The fear in her eyes was real, but so was the determination. With a shaky nod, she agreed. With the help of a flight attendant, Jane squeezed into the narrow compartment, guided by the co-pilot's calm voice over the radio. The air was thick and stale, the space cramped and dark, but Jane, fueled by a desire to help everyone and fueled by the comforting words of her mother, persevered. Her small hands fumbled with the cables, meticulously connecting them in the right order, bathed in the faint light of her borrowed flashlight. Back in the cabin, the silence was deafening. Everyone held their breath, their fates hanging by a thread. Kate squeezed Jane's hand, her heart pounding in her chest. Then, a miracle. The cabin lights flickered back on, followed by cheers and relieved sighs. Jane emerged from the compartment, a small hero in her own right. The pilot thanked her over the intercom, his voice thick with emotion. Passengers showered her with praise and applause, some even wiping away tears. The rest of the flight was filled with a sense of shared relief and immense gratitude. When they finally landed in Orlando, Jane was greeted like a celebrity. The airline, touched by her bravery, surprised them with a year's worth of free flights. Disney World held even more magic that year. As they walked down Main Street, hand in hand, Kate couldn't help but swell with pride. Her little girl, the girl who saved a plane.